Instagram, and YouTube.
All the above.
Again, McMurray and Members of Royal Real Estate. We've got a special guest today. We're not going to start with us. We're going to start with Dave Arter with Private Client Insurance. Dave, you're the man. You've got a lot of properties out there affected by this storm, especially on our beloved Sanibel and Captiva Island. You know, both of us love that island so much. We work out there. We're part of the board out there, and everybody thanks you for everything you do with our PAC and everything you've done for the board and all the island realtors. But it's not just the island. It's also off island you also deal with too. But so what's going on?
Well, the island's a very sacred place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's paradise. And I hate to see what I see out there.
Yeah.
And it's worse when you see it when you're on the ground versus the footage on TV.
Yeah.
But the damage is immense. I think the determination, and it's pretty clear that the older construction did not do nearly as well as the new construction.
Yeah.
And so that's has to do a lot with the building codes and requirements of impact glass and so forth.
The
So
roofs, everything. It's amazing
roofs.
how the newer construction and even some of the a little bit older construction, even you know, a lot of times when we talk new, it's the last 15 years. I've seen some structures that are older than that, and they did pretty good too.
yes, I did.
So
Yes, I did.
they may have been improved before the storm, and that's why, maybe with
Right.
the impact windows and doors and maybe a new roof. So
Right.
they held up pretty good. But so the new construction and some of that construction we were talking about held up pretty good. But a lot of those older homes, I went by one yesterday that was a piling home off West Gulf Drive right across the street from the beach. And the people are just hoping that their home can make it. And it's a teardown. I mean, it's a teardown. And sometimes we're going to talk about this later, but you know, there's questions. Should I build it back? Even if I can build it back, you know, those are going to be questions that
they're big decisions.
they're big decisions.
Right.
So there's a lot to this that a lot of people aren't even thinking. Again, hope, but there's reality. And we've been at this 3 weeks now, 3 weeks, but Sanibel's only been at it pretty much a day.
That's correct.
So they're just seeing their homes for the first time in person. So it's just started for Sanibel.
That's right. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people haven't even made plans to go out until tomorrow because that was the projected date
That
of
was
the
the day.
bridge, and it opened up 2 days
A little
early.
bit sooner.
Yes.
So still a lot to go. You know, we're already starting to get some calls, and we'll talk about that again later with people on what should I do with my real estate if it is more than 50% destroyed. But insurance wise, what's the biggest thing right now that you want to talk about as far as we talked about filing a claim?
Filing a claim. If you can call in your claim directly to your insurance carrier, you know, talk to your agent, because they're going to want to know, you know, name, rank, serial number, the basics, property address. That's all pretty elementary. Date of loss is the 28th of September. Then they're going to want to know who to contact. And in some cases, I had an instance this evening where the property manager on Fort Myers Beach is saying, we're letting adjusters into the condos Wednesdays and Thursdays. And that's important information for the adjuster to know, and contact information.
Yeah.
And they want to know the level of the damage. And right now, a lot of it's unknown.
Yeah.
So if you know what's been damaged, because a neighbor has taken some photos, and people have been very good. Sanibel it's like God's little acre where people do. They're your neighbors. They stick together. And I've even asked some of my clients, hey, can you go down the street? I don't want you to, you know, put yourself in harm's way, but you know, this couple, they're elderly. Can you take some photos? And they've been very gracious in doing that.
Yeah. Support and comfort.
That's it. So if you know what the damage is, report it. And we're having people file both flood claims and wind claims.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's going to be questions on some of that. The basic rule on a flood claim versus a wind claim is you look for the water line. And sometimes it's tough to spot. They look for it on the outside of the structure, the interior of the structure.
Well, we were talking about the water line. We've had a couple rains.
Right.
And I can't see a water line on a lot of these properties.
Well, that's why you have professional adjusters.
Yeah.
And they're used to going all around the property, seeing, I mean, I used to call it, or I still do, the seaweed line when it doesn't make it up to the dwelling.
Yeah.
And you can see where the mulch is washed up and so forth. I call it the seaweed line, but
Yeah.
that's the water line to show that it didn't get into the dwelling.
Yeah.
But the basic rule is where that water line is, that damage below is going to be flood. And then several inches above, where the drywall maybe got saturated. And then above that is going to be the roof. That's going to be wind damage.
That's going to be wind.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're having them file both. I recommend that you file both, because if you're going to go for FEMA aid, you have to be in a situation where you've tapped out your insurance, or some people that don't carry flood.
Yeah.
And they're going to ask, if you apply for the FEMA aid, if they're going to want all your information and then your insurance information.
We talked about that with as far as flood insurance covers up to 250,000 unless you've got excess flood. Most people don't take out excess flood. Some do. It's very expensive.
Some do. It's expensive on the barrier islands.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they figure that $250,000 of damages, take my chances.
Yeah.
It's going to be enough.
So just because you have 250 doesn't mean you're going to get 250.
That's true. It's going to be evaluated by the adjuster and determine what the amount of the loss is.
Yeah. And again, we've got a lot of issues with a lot of ground level homes that people are looking at. And again, we're going to talk about that situation later on. But one topic you mentioned was adjuster versus a private adjuster, because you bring out adjusters. Now,
right.
There's all types of private adjusters running around out there right now, whether it's on the streets of Fort Myers or whether it's on Sanibel and Captiva. What's the difference and what should people know?
Okay, so there's public adjusters.
Yes.
Okay, so the adjuster is working for the insurance carrier.
Yes.
The adjuster, his job is evaluate the damage, give it back to the insurance carrier, and he should be providing a fair and equitable deal. A public adjuster is someone that is hired by the client.
A private adjuster.
Well, it's a public adjuster.
Okay.
Is the term.
Okay.
So the public adjuster is out there and works for the homeowner.
Okay.
Okay. The standard fee or the maximum fee is 10% of the claim.
Yeah.
So if, let's say, the loss is $400,000, the public adjuster gets $40,000. So they sign on. I can't say whether you get a public adjuster or not. My big thing is I would give the insurance carrier an opportunity to respond.
Yeah.
Because there's no sense in paying 10% unless you want concierge service.
Yeah.
And I have clients that have gotten public adjusters just because they don't have time.
Yeah.
They don't have time to report a new vehicle to me or anything like that. So it's worth it. The 10% is worth it to them.
Yeah.
But I say give them a chance. It's just like if you lend someone $10,000, you don't hire someone for $1,000 to collect the money if you haven't talked to the individual you lended the money to.
But is there a negative with the adjuster from your insurance company versus the public adjuster, private adjuster, that time goes on? It's eating away time. If I let the insurance company do their thing, but then I want to seek a public private adjuster, and so much time has gone on. Is there anything to that, or no? Not really.
Well,
Mike.
the adjusters are getting out there
pretty quickly.
They are. And in fact, I've had follow-up calls. Even yesterday, I had 2 calls. I followed up with the insurance carrier, and they thanked me that, hey, you did something. So I got called today about the adjuster. So they're getting out there, especially on the island. It was very tough to get out there and go out by boat and then be walking, because when Chris Heydrich and I went out there with 2 executives from Citizens Insurance and someone from the Department of Financial Services, literally, I felt sorry. They were walking miles, the adjusters.
Yeah.
And I knew an adjuster and asked him, I said, did you go down to the house, down West Golf? He says, I'm doing that next. Well, he's walking the wrong way on West Golf.
Yeah.
He's almost a middle golf.
Yeah.
And he's going back there. So now that you have ground transportation, you're able to get across the bridge. Now you can work effectively. And it's good business to get out there, because now you can adjust several homes in a day, not just 1 or 2.
What's the time period, though, for you to get your result back? Okay, I got my adjuster out there. I'm waiting for my insurance to tell me the good news that I get full 250. or not?
Well, so the field, there's a field adjuster that is normally an independent contract. So the desk adjusters are working for the insurance carriers. The field adjusters are independent contractors for the most part that are hired by the insurance carrier. They get out there and then they have to turn in the report and get it to the desk adjuster because they're inspecting homes and writing reports, taking measurements all day. They're doing this at night. So it may be a day or two before they get it to the insurance carrier. And the insurance carrier, they really need several days to look at the information, the photos, the measurements, and to calculate the cost. So it's going to take them several days to look at it and then make a determination. So you're talking a few weeks before they really get back with an estimate of what the damage is going to be covered at.
So they get the estimate. How long does it take before I get my money?
Well, I mean, a lot of times, I mean, they're sending out.
Depends on the company, I'm sure, too.
Well, it does. And they're sending out checks.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they send out the check and then you're going to get a letter, and don't panic. Please don't panic that your claim has been closed because you can always reopen a claim. I have one where a determination was made and they kept the claim open because we still need documentation on more information on the damage. So I'm going to tell people, don't panic if you get a letter that your claim has been closed because you can reopen it. And the first offer is not the only offer because there's going to be unseen damage.
Yeah.
And there's going to be things that are going to come up.
So are there certain things like flood? Is there certain things that it covers and certain things that it doesn't?
Well, essentially on your ground level homes, the living area is what's going to be covered.
Yeah.
Legal living area, compliant living area.
But does that include mold? So mold remediation, does that include mold? I've heard it doesn't.
Well,
you got to read your policy, I'm sure, too.
It is. And I mean, adjusters, what we hope it says is water damage.
Yeah.
Water damage drywall.
Yeah.
Not mold. Moldy drywall.
Yeah.
And it's going to be how they're going to be written up. The flood is going to be a big challenge.
Yeah.
Because the lower levels, there's minimal coverage down there.
Yeah.
And
well, in some lower levels, there are lower levels that are, finished off and they're not supposed to be.
That's right.
What do you think about that?
I
mean, is this going to change the game for coastal areas that maybe some people take advantage of their lower level when they're not supposed to, even though I'm bringing up a topic here. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm just saying there's a lot of debris on the street. I would think that they're going to crack down on a lot of stuff out there.
Well, it's
not just there, but anywhere.
It's supposed to be storage space.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be finished, and to the point where it's not even supposed to be painted.
Yeah.
The drywall.
Yeah. I think after this one, I think people are going to learn a lot of lessons. I think the county, city of Sanibel, all incorporated cities, whatever, they're going to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen again. And it's all for the good. It's easy for me to say because I don't have my home out there anymore on Sanibel. And I had a ground level home and I went by it the other day. It was totally trashed. It was totally underwater. Yeah. So I feel bad for the people that own it now. But that could have been me and going through what a lot of these people are going through. I mean, you and I have been out there for a long time. I've been out there for 30 years. I grew up here though too. So Sanibel and Captiva and Fort Myers Beach has been part of my life for 51 years. Sure. I'm 55 years old for 52 years. Right. So it's heartbreaking. No matter if you own out there or not, for a lot of the locals, I've heard from a lot of friends, a lot of the locals, it's very heartbreaking just to see it. Because it was, even if they didn't live out there, they loved it. It was part of their life. They got married out there.
That's right.
They got engaged out there. I had so many people, so many friends that got engaged at Lazy Flamingo. Lazy Flamingo's gone.
Yeah. It's a special place.
Yeah.
It just is a special, sacred place. So
getting back to the insurance, if I want to repair my property and I haven't gotten my adjuster out there, or I don't understand, but I'm going out there repairing it. Didn't you say something? Repair up to the.
Number one, you want to take a ton of photos.
Yeah.
You can't take too many photos. So you want to record the damage, document it in the form of photos, videos, what have you. before you do anything. Then you want to make emergency repairs.
Emergency repairs.
So you want to mitigate so that future, further damage doesn't take place.
But don't do any more than that, right?
Well, you don't want to rebuild, okay? And there was a misunderstanding, and I had to straighten out with a client. She found her skylight 2 doors down. And she said, she told the desk adjuster, I'm going to put the skylight in. And they said, no, don't be putting in. Well, what she was talking about is putting the skylight in from the inside and foaming it up and just doing a repair to keep the, any rain or
Water.
anything coming in from outside. She was not replacing the skylight with a new one. That's what you do not want to do.
Protecting it.
You don't want to put a new roof on. You want to tarp it.
Yeah.
So you want to take measures, emergency type measures to prevent further damage. And sometimes that's not going to be able to take place.
Yeah.
And I was at a property, and there were a few of us there, right in front of the adjuster. We wanted to try to get the skylight tarped, and we had 5 Miami-Dade firefighters that said, you guys would be crazy if you went up on that roof. I wouldn't go up on that roof.
Yeah.
And the adjuster says, you guys are. You've taken every measure. Just being out on the island a week and a half ago was going beyond trying to mitigate and prevent further damage.
One of the big questions I'm hearing, Mike, what's this going to do to flood insurance and the cost? And is it going to be there? I'm sure it's going to be there. You're going to lose probably some carriers like we have before in the past. I remember State Farm pulled out of Florida at one time, and now they're back. But what do you think about this? I mean, and actually, it's not going to be cheaper. So,
well, it's, okay. So the flood, for the most part, most of the flood it's FEMA backed. Okay. And it's through the National Flood Insurance Program, which unfortunately is, it's tens of billions of dollars in the red right now.
Yeah.
It's a great program. Okay. But it is.
So it's in the red.
It's in the red.
And now we've become that much more in the red.
Now it's, and
it's going to be deep red.
Well, Florida has always been the cash cow. We have collected more premium than any other state. And, you look at the footage on TV and see these big floods in Iowa, Colorado, and so forth. And Florida, we haven't experienced an event like this in a long time. So the claims are going to be coming in. This isn't going to be good news for the National Flood Insurance Program, but the insurance carriers that they're called write your own carriers, and they're administrators for FEMA. So they handle the claims, they handle the administration, but it's government federally backed money by the government.
Yeah.
Now the wind insurance and homeowners insurance, that's what you're getting at. We've had 5 insurance carriers that are based in the state of Florida that went into receivership in 2022.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be, that was before, Hurricane Ian.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a problem. And I only see the premiums going up. It's how much?
Well, I was talking to a client today, and they own a ground level home on Sanibel. And they said, Mike, we won't be able to afford this. Our dream of running the family business and owning this home and living our the rest of our days here, enjoying the island, with now having to rebuild.
Right.
We can't afford that. We've got a mortgage on our property. And then also too, the flood insurance is going to be more expensive, I'm sure. And Sanibel's not going to happen for us. And I think you're going to see a lot of people like that.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
And I've talked with, some of my clients, that are 80, 81 years old. And they're saying, I'm beyond the back 9.
Yeah.
In the clubhouse.
Yeah.
This is where I was going to relax.
Yeah.
I don't know, how healthy I'm going to be in 3 years when this thing, starts to settle down.
Yeah. They don't want to waste good years.
They don't want to waste good years.
And they love Sanibel. That's never going to stop.
They love Sanibel the way that it was and the way that
Yeah.
it's going to be. But they, unfortunately, their timing just, it hasn't worked out here.
And it's not just Sanibel, it's also Fort Myers, because I've come across a lot of ground level homes along the river, along the canals that are in the same boat.
Right.
So,
but Sanibel will come back.
oh yeah,
But
it'll come back with a vengeance, but it's going to
it's-
take a long time. This one's going to take a while.
Right. And
Yeah.
I'm amazed at what has taken place
Yeah.
already. When I saw footage of the bridge, I'm thinking, okay, 2023. And I was amazed.
Yeah.
At what
With the temporary bridge.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The leaps and bounds and
Yeah.
and even clearing the debris from the first time I was out there to the next time I was out there.
Yeah.
The second time. So they're moving along, but it's a big project.
Yeah. Yeah. Dave, Tom, do you have any questions?
No, I think we covered a good bit.
I took all your questions out, didn't I?
Yeah.
Well,
Dave, I just want to say thank you. You're one of the pros out there.
Mike,
Dave Harder.
you too. Thank you.
With private client insurance. Elaine and Wes, the people that started it, right?
That's correct.
They're great people.
They are.
And you've got a fantastic group.
Oh, thank you.
That's why
very
we
much.
refer you.
Well, thank you so
You
much.
guys do it right. And you do it right.
And McMurray and Members, a team. I love your commercials.
Thank you.
You're,
Thank you.
back up what you do.
Oh, we respect you.
Well, thank you so much.
That's why we give you clients. You do it right.
Thank you.
So thanks,
Dave,
man.
thanks for
Appreciate
coming
it.
on.
All right,
Thank you.
Tom, thanks. All right. Take good care.
Next, we got Mark Baraball coming in.
We got to build this place back. So
This guy's the one that's going to build it back. Mark Baraball. There's other good builders out there too, but I've been told by a lot of subcontractors and a lot of my friends, I grew up here. So a lot of my friends are electricians, AC contractors, concrete guys. You're a concrete guy, one of my better friends, one of my best friends. He's one of the best, but he says you are the best. He said he's never met a builder that knows as much as what you do when it comes to all facets of construction. So, so Mark Baraball, MAB Homes.
Sir,
So
good to be here.
what's going on out there for you?
Lots of chaos.
Yeah. I know you've got some build jobs out there
I do.
and people are like going, when's my home going to start?
Yeah,
And
actually, everybody's being pretty good.
they're being pretty good, but
I understand.
naturally, as you know, you've got a lot of clients out there. You're a custom home builder. You do remodeling, but right now you're slammed.
Yeah, mostly new builds. Have some remodel, but
Yeah.
kind of take a few a year just to fill some gaps.
Yeah, and you're not just Sanibel and Captiva. You're also Fort Myers because
Fort
we've
Myers.
got some homes on the
Yep,
on the
riverfront.
riverfront that you've done, and some happy clients there. And what are some of the changes that you might think that are coming your way as far as in building? I mean, I know we talk about FEMA, we talk about flood. So
Yeah,
don't you think they're going to change those elevations?
I think they
a
will.
little
The
bit?
beach will be fine because you got the DEP elevation, which is already higher. But I think everywhere else that you're not in a V zone, it's going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going
Yeah.
around measuring water lines. So.
yeah, I saw that.
They're
So all
not
that's
gonna
going to
randomly
change,
do
which
that.
naturally we just left with Dave Arter, which affects flood insurance and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
So V zone, I mean, you bring that up. Usually, if you're in a V zone, you have to go up higher.
Right.
And we've got height restrictions on Sanibel, so that can affect that.
Mm.
Are there going to be the FEMA maps are going to change probably too, aren't they? Because they've already changed just recently. Do they change that quick again?
Well, who knows with
Yeah.
what happened? I mean, they could.
I've heard November 1, we're supposed to hear some amendments by FEMA and by the county by November 1.
That'll be
It was supposed to be before, but then I've heard it's coming November 1. So who knows? But County Commissioner Ruane used to be the former mayor on Sanibel for like 16 years, ran an incredible ship and still running a great ship with the county. He's a good man. Talked to him a few times. He's got a big job ahead of him.
I imagine in town there's going to be a lot of changes too.
Yeah, I would think anywhere on anything that's
Along water,
affected
yeah.
by, that's along the water or affected by flood.
I mean, there's a lot of places that aren't along the water, like the forest. I mean, they had
Back up
3.5, 4 feet
Yeah.
of water throughout
Yeah.
all the ground level homes in there.
Yeah.
All at the end of Winkler too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Union Bay, all back in there.
One thing I was asking before, and I don't know if you got the answer for it yet, about the electrical, about if your electric has been compromised, even if you're on a second floor and your first floor is, non-habitable,
Right.
because it's up to newer codes, but maybe your meter, maybe your breaker box, some things down there got
Yeah.
exposed to water, and it's salt water. And we know what salt water can do. I've
Mhm.
heard that to get an electrician to stamp his name on that job without replacing the electrical up top, if it has been affected on the lower level, in maybe even just the smallest way, they're not going to touch it.
Yeah.
I've
Well-
heard that even general contractors even say, I'm not touching that job.
Yeah.
if they don't do
Anything
it.
that's been completely submerged definitely has to be replaced. What I've heard is, say a normal house like my house, that's
Yeah.
in town, got a couple feet of water. If it's into the outlets, all the receptacles have to change. The wiring is probably okay, but they're going to peel back the cover to see if the paper around those wires is wet. If it's wet, then they're going to take it back to where it came from.
Yeah.
So out there, if any panels, meter cans, any of that got submerged is definitely.
I wonder, we say that now, but then you have a guy that was just in here about insurance. What do they say about that?
That's another story.
Because that's something that might change also. So we don't know. There's a lot of
Right.
unknowns here.
right.
There's a lot of unknowns here.
Yeah.
So I think people talk about the power getting on. Yeah, the power's on, but that doesn't mean it's on at your house.
Right.
It's just on at the street. So what's the story with that?
Well, Sanibel and Captiva, all those major areas are making you get a certification. They sent out a form. It's got to be done by an electrician. I can't do it as a GC. It's got to be a licensed electrician. So they have to go out there, check, make sure the meter, your panels, all that stuff is okay. Whatever was submerged has to be repaired before they'll turn it on. So like you said, they're putting their license on the line. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be as easy as everybody.
Does
It's gonna be-
LCEC or FPL have to come out also, or no? I mean, I would think if it's their meter, maybe no, or yeah, or
it's still so new. I don't know.
yeah.
So I think you have to give that form back to the municipality, whether it's Lee County, Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach, whatever. And then they probably give it to the power company, whichever one it is. and
Yeah.
Then they go from there. So,
What are there some other topics that you're hearing out there or questions you're being asked?
well, a lot of the ground floor stuff,
The 50%
Yeah,
rule. That's the
that.
big one.
Mhm.
And I drove around Sanibel. I mean, I actually drove my walk. I had a bike, and first time I've ridden a bike 10 or
No-
15 miles.
no
like
scooter?
That hurt. No scooter.
Oh,
There's
come on, we gotta
too
get
much
a
on the
scooter.
streets. Scooter wouldn't have made it. But I mean, what I saw out there, I mean,
Yeah.
so much. I mean, ground level homes totally gutted now. They got
Yep.
got in there and they got everything gutted. Some of them only cut out to a certain part, but I'm like going, I mean, you cut out to there, but I mean, it's still mold, all that.
Well, and how
Just
long
because
it
the water
sat,
line
too.
was there.
Right.
You still got mold that you got to worry about. So are
Right.
you going to cut out the rest of the drywall?
Right.
You
Well,
know?
and those are the ones too, where, you have 4 or 5 feet of water in there. So
Yeah.
that really gets your, FEMA stuff, because you have to replace all that electrical. So that's
Yeah.
substantial improvement, which then goes into that 50% rule.
Yeah. So the 50% rule is the big thing. And then just there's questions that come about every day that are
Yeah,
you know,
Sanibel put out that letter, I guess it was about a week ago, that had the list
with
of
their
stuff.
formula.
Yeah, no, not the formula, but a list of stuff you can do without a permit.
Didn't seem like much though, because 500 square feet on a roof.
Right. Well, that's
There's a lot of roofs
that's
that are
gonna
more
be
than 500 square
substantial,
feet.
Right. And then inside, they said you can pull out drywall, put it all back, piece for piece type thing, but you got electrical to deal with. So
And
when
like
you put
Dave's-
the drywall back,
Dave said, do emergency
right.
repairs. So if somebody comes in there and goes to the water line, like Dave said,
Mhm.
Dave Arter, the insurance guy that it was just here with private client, if you just go to that line, but then they take off the rest, then that
Right.
goes against what he just said.
Right.
So,
Yeah. It's a guessing game right
and
now.
you've had Sanibel and officials go out there and already tag homes.
right.
You've got red tags, you got yellow tags, you got all kinds of tags out there. I don't know what they mean. I don't know what that means
Yeah.
for building back. I don't know if they really know just yet,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they've already tagged all these properties.
Right. They're supposed
So-
to be going back through again because that was all FEMA guys. right?
Yeah.
And so they're supposed to be going back with city or county officials and actually saying, okay, this is not uninhabitable. It's just
But county's
Highly
not going to get
damaged.
involved with Sanibel. They'll get
no
involved with
Captiva. Yeah.
Captiva. Yeah. So What about in Fort Myers? Anything new in Fort Myers? Anything different in Fort Myers? Same kind of thing. 50%
really-
rules, 50%
Yeah,
rule.
Lee County sent out an email saying, well, told the BIA basically, substantial improvement still in place.
And I know
So,
the BIA
much
is
so.
working with the county
right,
about some of the amendments.
right.
So, I think there's definitely changes coming with a lot of the stuff that we just don't know still.
Yeah.
So we might get power on, we might get water, but those kind of changes don't happen overnight, I don't think.
No.
So,
Well, it's going to be confusing too.
Yeah.
Someone's got to put some rules down and say
yeah.
either go or it's 50% rule.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people out there with ground level homes that I know got flooded, and they're thinking they're gonna just remodel these things and stuff like that. And I'm looking at what the county has for their value there, and I'm going, yeah,
there's
it's
no
gonna be
way.
a lot more than that.
Yeah.
But that's what we talked about too, where, you and I were talking to someone the other day. We both know that they spent, $1.8 million on the home, and it's a ground level home, and it was totally wiped out. I mean, you got the concrete walls and the roof still on there, but I mean, it's totally gutted, everything. And this was their final resting spot for many, many more years to come. And, I had to give them the news that even if you could put it back, is that the highest and best use?
Right.
Is that going to be what the next buyer that comes in wants? And if
Right.
they do want it, they're not going to pay you like they would if something was more up to codes. And,
Right.
you're going to take out at least half your buyer pool
Yeah.
Right.
if you keep that on the ground a lot of times, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the value is not going to be as high. But there's also people that can't afford to scrape it and rebuild, so they're going to be selling.
Right.
So a lot of big things out there that are still yet to come.
Yeah, that'll be interesting on contracts,
Yeah.
flooded and torn out, but then what?
I mean, disclosures.
Yeah.
I mean, you have
Yeah.
to disclose.
That's what we're telling
everything.
everybody. Just
Use
disclose,
licensed
over disclose.
contractors, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. People wanting to get their house back together, just hiring, someone to come in and do it without checking them or knowing what's going on. So yeah, it'll be interesting for sure.
Are you taking on any new jobs right now? I know you are a custom home builder, because somebody asked me the other day, as far as they called me up and they said, "Who's this Mark Bearball, MAB Homes?" I said, "You're in great hands." And they were actually going to build a home on the beach on Captiva 3 years from now, but they had damage. It's a ground level home, and they're already meeting with Mark, and he's going to build them a new home, and they're going to expedite the process, but it's still going to be a process. What was
Definitely a
taking
process.
1 year with design and permitting and then building, actually,
Yeah.
and you said probably 2 years to build it back before the storm. Now it's probably longer.
Yeah. Well, it's.
We do have a shortage of materials still.
It's going to be in labor.
And labor.
That's going to be even worse now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting, but yeah, I'm still entertaining new clients. It's just, kind of, as I always do, trying to get with people who fit with me
Yeah.
best, and work well together.
And
So,
you're making sure your current clients and your past clients are taken care of first
yep.
before you take on new clients
Okay.
that might need help putting their homes back together, and then getting your jobs back in gear too. And I know you've already got some of those jobs back going.
Yep.
You have that one up on
the
Captiva
river.
back on?
This coming week.
Yeah. So progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know you've started the one on Fort Myers on the river. That's a big one too. You got that going back.
Yeah,
again.
all the ones on the river are already going. They started last Monday. So
Yeah.
It was a quick turnaround there. So, people that can't go to the island need somewhere to work.
Yeah.
So,
Anything, your background, let me ask something. You went to University of Florida
Mhm.
and you went to school, and what'd you study?
Building construction,
Building construction.
construction management.
So how many years was that? 4 years?
It's a 4-year degree.
Yeah. So you know your stuff. You're not just some contractor that took the general contractor's test and
Right.
became a
Not
builder.
just a
You studied for it.
superintendent. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of engineering at that college. I think I just saw I got a new letter. It's called Orange and Blueprints.
Yeah.
And
Well, go Gators.
so they go Gators. They I think they're backed into the #1 construction school in the nation.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah. A lot of your builders they're not
Yeah.
like that. I mean,
Right.
not that they're not good builders,
Right.
but a lot of them just went out and got their GC, and
Right.
that's a hard test.
Yeah. It is.
But you have a little bit extra.
Yeah.
So, Mark, I appreciate you being here
No
today.
problem.
I know you're busy.
Good having.
I know
or
it's
thanks
late.
for having me.
So get back home.
Get to the wife.
And your home was
Yeah, I had just shy of 2 feet.
so
of water
home
in it.
flooded, back out there helping people. So taking care of himself like he should be, but right off the bat, he was taking care of people too. So Mark Baraball, MAB Homes, thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. So I think wrap it up now.
Yeah.
You know, we started last two live feeds at what we do, what we had done, but we decided to say, let's give the public good information out there that's being talked about. As far as what we've done in the last week, we've fed first responders again. We're going out there tomorrow and feeding them again. So Mission Barbecue, there's other good barbecue places around here, but Mission's just pretty convenient for us, and they're good.
Yeah, they're efficient. They're good.
Yeah, Nick's Barbecue is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Probably the best ribs I've ever.
I think they're
had.
getting close to being open.
Yeah, that's really good. But so, are we selling real estate?
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to get back to normal a little bit. Are we normal yet? No. But we're starting to get those calls coming in, and we're all about helping people. And some people, it's not necessarily affected by the storm. They were trying to buy before or trying to sell before, and some houses are getting put back together, but some people are ready to go. Some houses were undamaged.
Yeah, we're doing deals. We've done about 10 million so far in sales. This is an off month for us anyway. So October is usually an off month. You're getting into the holidays. These are slower months for us. We usually pack on a bunch of listings. So since the storm, we've done about 10 million in sales, and we've got about 7 listings. We got more coming, and it's not like these listings are being pushed down. If anything, this storm may have helped them be pushed back up.
Yeah, I mean, we had one listing that actually had a little bit of water in it, and got full price, and we priced it from the comps before the storm, and that would have been our price before the storm.
Yeah,
and we got it.
Yeah. So I think sales are doing well. Listings, we could probably have more listings out there right now, but we're right now telling people, hey, let's wait on that right now in that specific market, that segment, because maybe they were affected by flood.
Right.
Maybe that area like Sanibel.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a lot of people on Sanibel, and they're saying, Mike, so what do you? I'm like, going, hey, look, you're just day one right now. There's 3 weeks in, but you're just day one. You're just seeing this. We've got a lot to figure out first. So
but you've got neighborhoods like Gulf Harbor that, there was some damage in Gulf Harbor, but not much. Units weren't damaged very much. And, with the proximity to Sanibel and the people that had their homes destroyed on Sanibel that, are going to have a long project ahead of themselves. They're starting to buy in places in Gulf Harbor. And
Sanibel or Gulf Harbor is going to be a hot market.
Yeah.
We've already seen that. I went in there the other day, sold a condo, but we had 4 bids on it and drove it up. And my buyer was like, Mike, I'm paying, X amount over. I mean, a good amount over the asking price. We came in with asking, then we changed our offer real quick. It was cash, close whenever they want, easy terms, all that good stuff. And we almost didn't get it. And we're glad we got it because it's probably higher now.
Honestly, the market's starting to feel like it did 8, 9, 10 months ago, where it's multiple offers on everything. Offering a well over list price and stuff like that. So,
but that's not every segment.
Not every segment, but a couple different segments. I mean, there's some fierce competition out there right now.
Yeah. So I think we've got some good months ahead of us with sales. We'll have some inventory coming up. Rentals, it's through the roof. And I think I talked to somebody today from Sanibel. They have a house off the beach, and he said, Mike, you helped our friend find a place, and we would love to find a rental, but we are prepared to buy too, because we know rentals are through the roof, and maybe it's smarter for us to buy. So you've got a lot of clients out there, a lot of people out there that can afford to do that. And it's probably a better choice because this market's not going to change anytime soon.
Right.
And then when they're done with it, they can either put it back on the market or they can rent it to someone else.
Still plenty of people moving here.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's all I had today. I know we're marketing. We just started a TV commercial. First time on TV, really. Well, did TV back in 2002 before, but put a nice commercial out there, and all of our advertising and marketing is just, we're here to help. That's what it's about. It's not, we are selling homes, we are marketing homes, but basically we understand we're here to help. Give us a call and let us know how we can help. So I think that's it for us today.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. McMurray and Members of Royal Shell Real Estate. Signing off. So
we'll see you next Thursday.